Well, what's up, good people? Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Hope everybody's having a great day. Man, the Cowboys, we are so drama filled. We had the idea and the concept of trading Micah Parsons out there, but Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones have since walked that back. And of course, they're like, oh, Micah ain't going nowhere. Micah Parsons says he wants to be here, even though Eagle fans say they would love to have him. I have gone on and said a couple times that I think that Micah Parsons has done. Micah Parsons as well as CeeDee Lamb have both done a lot of growing up as this season's gone on. Sometimes it takes bad times and hard times to, unfortunately, make you grow up. It's easy when things are going great and everybody's loving you and everything else and stuff, to just have a time. It's just like a party. But then when things are bad, people criticize, people are mad at you, you're not getting the same amount of love. That will change you and force you to grow up. But I want to look at the numbers here because the Cowboys are doing something that's really kind of crazy. Now, I want to say, let me say, as I go through here, I understand the competition that we've been playing this half of the season. When we looked at the schedule, beginning of the season, we said it's going to be real tough for the Cowboys. It's going to be real tough for the Cowboys the first half of the season, but if they can get through the first half of the season at 500, the season, it gets better for them. There's a soft underbelly there. So I get that we have been playing lesser teams. That being said, collectively, you look at the numbers on a full season. You have some weeks you have good teams, some weeks you have bad teams. But here's the thing that's kind of crazy to me, and I didn't realize it at the time. If we look at this, take a look at this real quick. I did not realize, oh, my camera's not working. Okay. I did not realize, I got to restart the camera, that the Cowboys currently right now are fourth in the NFL in sacks. Let me say that again. The Dallas Cowboys right now currently are fourth in sacks. And when you start thinking about the amount of injuries that we've had this year, including Micah Parsons missing, 4 games? 4 games Micah Parsons missed. You think about Diggs literally, missing in and out and now gone for the season. You think that D-Law hasn't played. You think that Sam Williams hasn't played. You think that Marshawn Nealon has been out most of the season. That we've been, Deron Bland didn't start playing until later on. The fact that we have, at this moment, 42 sacks is crazy. Now, here's where it gets even crazier. If we look at the Dallas Cowboys, okay, the first 4 weeks of the year when Micah was playing, Mike only got 1 sack. Only got 1 sack. And as a team, we did get 6 against Cleveland, but I don't know that counts. We got 1 against New Orleans, none against Baltimore, 4 against the Giants, but it's the Giants. And I'm sorry, let me go back again. 6 against Cleveland, once against New Orleans. I'm sorry, only 1 against the Giants, and then 3 against the Steelers, and 3 against the Lions. Okay? So when you think about the games, and 2 against San Francisco, and 2 against the Falcons, here's the crazy thing. Games that Micah Parsons didn't play in, be it some of that was good competition. Some of that was good competition. We averaged 2.5 sacks a game. 2.5 sacks a game, okay. That's about average. Games that Micah Parsons played in, the 10 games he played in, we averaged actually 3 sacks a game. So you can look at this and say, well, Micah Parsons adds a 1/2 sack per game. Okay. Now, here's the real kicker right here. If we just take the games, the 6 games that Micah has played since he came back. The 6 games that Micah has played since we came back as a team. Now, he's had 7.5 sacks. But as a team, we got 24 sacks in 6 games. Bro, that's averaging 4 sacks a game. Now, I understand. Listen. I'm going through and I'm saying, I get it. We got 6 against the Carolina Panthers, okay? Okay, I get it. We only got 2 against Joe Burrow. We got 6 against the Giants. So those numbers will skew you a little bit. Washington, you got 4. You got 1 against the Texans. But you got 5 against the Eagles, which has a great offensive line. So collectively, though, you still average 4 a game. Now, here's where it gets crazy. Let's say, hypothetically, you did that average out for a season. That comes out to 68 sacks in a season. And where does that sit? Let's take this. This is mind-blowing because the NFL all-time season record is the 85 Bears with 72. Okay? Followed by the Vikings with 71. The Eagles with 70. The Bears again with 70. The Giants with 68. If you were to extrapolate, and granted there is one more game, so that also has to be taken into consideration. But if you were to extrapolate 4 sacks a game average over 17 games, it comes out to 68 sacks. Even if you say, well, in comparison, let's say 16 game seasons, we'll take off 4. That still takes you to 64. Understand, the highest the Dallas Cowboys have had, let me pop this up here. The highest that the Dallas Cowboys have had, sacks-wise, in their history is 62 in 1985. That's a lot of sacks, guys. And see, that's the difference. That's the difference of having Micah Parsons.
I've eaten a lot of raccoon. Yes. The answer is yes. And
Jerry,
I've eaten.
Hush, Jerry. That's the difference of having Micah Parsons in the lineup. He's elevating everybody else around him. He's doing great things and making you focus in on him, and it's allowing others to get there. Now, here's where it also gets crazy, too. I want you to think about all of the players that we're missing, that there's not a Robin really on the other side. What if you ended up getting another really good pass rusher to complement him? What if you added another great defensive lineman? Because, see, this isn't like last year's San Francisco 49ers defense, you know, where you had great players across the front and great linebackers. We're doing this with smoke and mirrors. And this is why you got to look at it and say, maybe Mike Zimmer does know what the hell he's doing. You look at the progression of an Overshown. You look at how Micah Parsons, he's got 7.5 sacks in 6 games, people. 7.5 sacks in 6 games coming off injury. That's phenomenal. He gets 1 more sack. He's at 50 to start his career. There's only 5 guys that have done that in the history of the NFL. Well, since they started counting sacks. Because they say Gino Marchetti, they said literally he had 11 sacks in 1 game. But that, be that as it may, they weren't counting sacks back that time. Deacon Jones swears that he's had 28 in 1 season. But be that as it may, they're not counted. So we can only go by what is actually counted. And so if he gets a sack and a half, he will have had double-digit sacks to start out his career. Again, something that only 4 guys have done in the past. And so you have to look at this and say, that boy can play. And that's the reason why you don't trade somebody like that. He is literally, you're going from 2.5 sacks without him, to 4 sacks with him. 2.5 without him, 4 with him. Guys, you can say trade him for a couple of first-round picks, but he's like a first-round pick and a half. Have a good night, good people. Peace.